Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be doing the Booktube Newbie tag, which I have actually done before years ago, but since I've kind of resurrected my channel, I thought it would be best to actually reintroduce myself, because that tag that I did years ago doesn't really represent me now. So I'm gonna get the questions on my phone. So if I'm looking down, it's not because I'm nervous, I'm just reading. First question on the list is, why did you start the channel? And honestly, outside of the obvious of being that I love books, I have been on the outside looking in for so long on YouTube, on Booktube particularly, but YouTube in general, and I wanted to be part of it, but I didn't have the guts for a very long time, to be completely honest. I was too scared, and I just bit the bullet and I did it. I'm doing YouTube because I want to be part of it, and the secondary but perhaps most important reason is that I love books. I have a master's in literature and publishing. I would love to work in publishing one day, but until now I'll be making my little YouTube videos, and that's just kind of it. I also want to promote a lot of reading, and by maybe reading and reviewing books that are not necessarily all over TikTok, I can help people find new favorites. Recently I bought this book and it has won prizes, okay? So it isn't some indie underground author, but at the same time, this isn't on your TikTok feed. It's Calypso by David Sedaris, and I am really intrigued by it, and I will be reviewing that soon. And I have a lot of books like that that are not necessarily on the TikTok display in bookstores, and they're not on your TikTok feed, and they're not on your Instagram feed either. That isn't to say that what's on those feeds is bad, but my hope for joining is that I will introduce people to books that are not necessarily in mainstream media, quote unquote. So that's kind of answering that question in a very roundabout way. Number 2, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to YouTube? I don't know, to be truthfully honest. I guess that I am very bluntly honest about my feelings of books. If I like them, I'm gonna let you know. If I don't like them, I'm also gonna let you know, and that's kind of it. I don't filter my words. If I really don't like something, I'm gonna let you know about it. I mean, today I just received Intermezzo by Sally Rooney in the post. I got gifted it, and I was really surprised by this because I absolutely flamed Beautiful World, Where Are You? Like, I really didn't enjoy it. So I was really surprised that I received it. But I also appreciate that if I read this book and I actually really love it, it's kind of like a redemption arc for Sally Rooney, and that will help. But I think authors and publishers appreciate that I'm giving my authentic response to books. So maybe that's my unique take on it, that I'm quite not only blunt, but I can be a bit mean. Like, I can be harsh about books, and maybe that's my unique thing. I'm not sure, because I think everybody's pretty authentic on Booktube and Bookstagram and BookTok. All things considered, it's the most real, quote unquote, corner of the internet, I believe. Number 3, what are you most excited about this new channel? I'm excited about connecting with people and finding new book friends, particularly book friends that are Irish. I'm really on the hunt to find more Irish-based booktube channels. There are some, but in comparison to other countries, we are a small number. Number 4, why do I love reading? Oh my goodness. That's the $1,000,000 question. How do we even sum that up? I kind of take 2 routes. Number 1 is escapism. You know, it's really a lovely way to decompress and escape into a world that is unlike your own. The opposite side of that is that by escaping into a world that is unlike your own, be that fictional or otherwise, you learn. So I read to learn as well about all different experiences, good and bad, that are unlike my own. And reading teaches you to have empathy, it teaches you about compassion, it teaches you to look outside yourself, and I think that's why I read, is it has given me those qualities. So I read for 2 reasons: to learn and to escape, in very simple terms. 5, what book or series got you into reading? Honestly, I've always been a reader. I mean, I remember reading The Tiger Who Came to Tea and Dear Zoo and The Velveteen Rabbit, and my mum reading them to me, or me going to the library to read them when I was a kid. And I loved reading Little Red Riding Hood. I would constantly go up to the people at the library and ask them to read that book, and they were like, oh, and they'd put on a show, and I'm like, I know how it goes, I've read it already. And they'd look at me like, what? You want to read another book? And I'm like, no, I just want to read that one. But I think if I say what book got me into reading, I think when I first called myself a reader, it's probably Jacqueline Wilson and then Harry Potter, both of which I don't think I'll ever reread Harry Potter, because I think it's been tainted by what has gone on in that fandom and with the creator. But I think someday in the future I will reread a certain Jacqueline Wilson book and kind of see if I would recommend it to my own child if I were to have a child, because I look back on those books and I feel like they traumatized me more than they encouraged me to read, but they were addictive. I will say that. They were addictive. Number 6, what questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? Oh my goodness. I don't know what I would ask them, because Booktube is a very open community. You can just message people, comment on their videos, they will respond. If they don't, someone else will answer the question. So I don't know, do I have any burning questions for anybody? Maybe ask Noelle Gallagher if she's okay, because I miss her videos very much. Number 7, what challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? Honestly, the algorithm, because it makes no sense to me. There are videos I put up and I think they're terrible and they do well enough, and then I put up videos that I really worked hard on and they get 20 views. So it's really hard to know, to be honest. The algorithm, I can't make any sense of it. Number 8 is, when did you start reading? Again, I kind of answered this. I read since I was very young. I started reading properly for myself when it came to Jacqueline Wilson books when I was about 9 or 10, 11, around that age. Number 9, where do you read? I read physically in my bed, on the train, in the sitting room, in cafes, everywhere. I listen to audiobooks literally everywhere. On my walks, in the loo. There is not a place I don't. 10, what kind of books do you like to read? Genuinely everything. I think the only thing I'm not a huge fan of is very spicy books or very paranormal books. I don't love paranormal. Now, if you're giving me the Sad Ghost Club, that doesn't really count as paranormal, even though there's technically ghosts in it. But like, I don't like things to do with like spirits and ghosts and scariness like that. I'm good with gore, I don't mind that. But I just don't like things to do with ghosts in a scary capacity. That'd be probably the only thing I don't reread. I don't read a lot of mystery and thriller and horror, but that isn't because I don't like it. It's just not what I have on the shelves. And I'm at the moment trying to read every book that I own, more or less. So I'm not really buying books, so I don't really gravitate towards that genre, but I've nothing against it. When I do start buying books again, it's kind of an avenue. It is an avenue that I would like to read more of, definitely on the mystery and thriller side, because every time I pick up a mystery or a thriller, I'm like, I really need to read more of these, and then I proceed not to. So that's something for me I need to do. Last one is, what does my book collection look like? Well, I did a bookshelf reorganization a little while back, so I'm going to say check that out if you want to see. So that was my Booktube Newbie tag answers. I hope you learned a little bit about me. I love to read. I write a little bit, and I really just want to promote a love of reading. And if you can get that from my channel, I say it's a job well done for me. I want to recommend books as well that you haven't heard of necessarily. Maybe you have, but not as much as like your Cassandra Clare's and your Sarah J. Maas's, for example, or Sally Rooney's. Like, those are the names you're hearing all the time. I do read a lot of popular books too, but they're maybe not necessarily what's in the news, you know. Thanks for watching. I shall see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave a comment.